Well, good morning, guys. We're back at it again. It's nice and cool again this morning. Hopefully today, it's going to warm up a little bit today, I think. It might get up to 60 today, maybe.
The sun's hitting right here, which warms up faster than any other part of our property. And we spent the night at the cabin.
Yep.
I got it all decorated for Christmas. It looks nice. We did kind of a simple Christmas over there. And I'm going to be showing that over on Crazy Days, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. All the leaves hadn't fell off the trees yet, or the sun would be right on us. So we're staying kind of shaded a little bit, but that's okay. You know, it is what it is. But today, guys, you saw yesterday we finished up the last video about putting the purlins around the side. Well, I still got 3 walls to go right here. I got 2 little short ones and 1 longer one. I'm going to hold off on that right now about finishing that, because holding that saw up over my head, cutting all these slots, is beginning to bother my neck and shoulders. So I'm going to give it a break early this morning, and I'm going to start putting up ceiling joists over this room back here and see if we can't make that our focus for the first part of the morning.
Yeah, because I like to help him as much as possible in the first part of the morning. Then he does little things in the evening where he can work by himself, so I can get some things done inside. Everybody's always asking about how do you get so much done. We work together when we can, like the ceiling joists and things, and putting these beams up. Then he works doing the things around the sides and all. So we don't get video of everything. I take pictures of things that he gets done later. So it's not a exact step by step. I try to get him to explain what he's done.
Well, it's pretty close, because I mean, there's no sense in you sitting here watching me
saw every board,
and you know, to do this and do that really has no bearing on the build whatsoever. It's just repetitious, you know.
Yeah. Once you've seen it one time, okay, figure it out times ever how many times around here. That's the way we look at it.
But the first thing, like I said this morning, we will be working on putting the ceiling joists up in here. We've got all the walls are pulled straight, except for this one right to my right here with the big beams on it. The rest of them have all been pulled straight, braced off really well. So we're going to go ahead and try to get all the ceiling joists up on all of them that we can. And once we have them, then we can tie it to this wall and pull to the other side of the building, and we can pull this thing in and get it straight like it needs to be, so that we don't have a little bit of a bow in our wall anywhere. So
yeah, so doing the rooms first helps, and then this wide span last.
Yeah, we do it last, and it's not like it's a big bow. It's only like 3/8 of an inch, but
but Danny's a perfectionist.
That's too much for me. Okay, I don't. I want it right. Now, let me say this. One of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a rafter tail pattern, because this build is not like a house build. This is a wooden structure that will be built like a steel structure and look like a steel building when I get through with it on the outside. So it's built totally different in the top part than you would if you were building a shed with an overhang and all this kind of stuff. This one will not have an overhang. It would be just like a steel building. So there's going to be a little bit of a differences there, and I'll show you the pattern once I get it cut, and I'll try to explain a little bit about it. Maybe it'll be a little bit more understandable. Okay, I want to explain how I got this mark on the end here. I took my speed square and I set it up here. I went to the 7 common mark right here on a speed square, and I scribed this line, because that's the pitch that we're going to be using. Now, because let's pretend that this plate right here is my plate on top of the building up there. What we're going to have is we're going to have another 2x that's going to nail right along the edge of this plate like this, so that our metal can come on up on this side here and there not be any air gaps between it. The distance we have from here to here is 4 inches. So from here to here, I took the square and I made a square line. I just put the square on my plumb mark and drew a square line, and what you end up with is actually a bird mouth. Now we're going to take this and we're going to cut it here, and we're going to cut it here, and this is what we'll end up with right here, is this. Now this will come over and will sit just like this here. It will be flush across the top here, and it will come to right at that point right there up on our top plate. Now that's like the top of the building right here. Let's just pretend that that's it. Then we're going to come back when we put our lathing on, and the lathing will actually lay on top of this just like this. It'll be a 2x6 on the bottom, and it will nail to this, and it will nail to this, and there will also be this same angle, which is 30 degrees, will be cut on this right here, so that the metal runs flush all the way down it, and that our roof metal can come off, our trim can come off and roll over this edge like it's supposed to. So that's the reason for me building this the way it's built. Now it may be a little confusing until I get it up, but I wanted you to understand this particular cut here that I've made a little bit better and why I made it the way I made it.
Keep it up there.
Keep that part up. Okay, I've got it now. Can you see that? Okay guys, we're up on the top plate of the building up here now. This first mark is my rafter mark. This mark right here, if you hook a tape measure on the outside edge of the building out here and pull it in, you want 2-foot centers on your rafter. So this mark right here will be 23 1/4, and 3/4 is the half of the thickness of a 2x. So that will give you 24 inches to the center of your rafter. Now this is a ceiling joist. The ceiling joist will set to the right hand side on this particular job, some of them to the left hand, depending on your job. This will set to the right hand side of the rafter. I've got a C and a J there. That tells me that the ceiling joist goes there. Now this is going to simulate that band that I told you guys I was going to be nailing on the outside edge of the building. And the reason that I did this is like when this comes here, this has got to stop right there. Like that right there. Now what that does is when I nail this, I can come back after I get all the ceiling joists on, and I can cut this band that goes out here that was on the angle that I showed you a while ago, and I can nail it through the ends of this out here and down to the top plate. And then when we set our rafter on here, our rafter will sit right down beside this right here, and we can nail this to the rafter and the rafter to the top plate also. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to get this thing nailed. Get it just right, because this is the critical part right here. This has got to be right. Guys, if you buy a gun, get the commercial one that's got this built-in hanger on it. That way you can push this thing in, you lock it around out of the way, you pull it up. That way if you're working up high like this, you don't have to worry about holding on to this gun. Alright, we're going to get one over here. Like that. And that's got this end of it. Okay. Guys, you can't go wrong if you buy one of these Gorilla ladders. This thing is probably the best ladder in the world. It can go up to 9 feet high. It can go in multiple positions. I mean, you can use it for scaffolding, you can use it for all kinds of things. This thing is well worth its money. Mike can get one more right here.
Move the ladder, dude.
I have to watch because I got to drop this off on that top plate up on there.
I'm out from under it.
Well, guys, it's break time again. Doesn't seem like I got a lot done, but I got all the ceiling joists on that side of the building over there in that one room. I've got all these cut, ready to go up. All the layouts are on the top plates. So it's fixing to be, what, 8? Well, 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock break.
It's our 9 o'clock break time.
I'm finishing up the last of the satsumas. This will be it. He's eating sweet potato dessert that I make him. If you want to know what it is, we got a cookbook called From Garden to Pantry to Table. It's on our Etsy store, deepsouthhomestead.etsy.com.
So, still a little cool out here, but
Not bad.
not bad. There's no wind. As long as, well, I say that the tops of the trees are blowing, but down where we're at, there's no wind.
And the
it's,
humidity must be.
the humidity's a lot lower this morning, so it's making it very comfortable out here. Even though it's probably in the, right around 50, probably 52, somewhere along in there. As long as the sun's out and the wind's not blowing and the humidity's low, it is not bad. It's actually very pleasant.
So
Good working conditions.
We're going to take our break, finish up with these ceiling joists. What's the next step after this room?
We're going to put our 2 ledgers on our beam up here. Now, I'm not one, I don't like using hangers inside a house where you're going to be nailing up a ceiling and stuff like that, because those hangers leave an uneven surface across there, and inevitably you're going to hit one with a nail and stuff, and it just makes it very difficult to make a ceiling look really nice when you have hangers on everything. So code says that I can either use a hanger or a ledger, and I prefer the ledger. So I'm going to be ripping some ledgers out and putting down the sides of these beams here for my ceiling joists to sit on. I just like to do it that way myself, and I've never had a problem with an inspector saying anything to me about it, as long as I did it right. So that'll be our next thing once we get all these up.
All right, we're going to break for a little while with my coffee and his hot chocolate, warm the insides up a little. And I'm holding this for warmth in my hands.
You don't get cold until you stop. When you stop,
Yeah.
Plus we're in the shade of this tree here, so it is a little chilly.
So we're going to get started with the next step. After he nails these up, we'll start with this, and we'll see how far we get today.
Hopefully today, the Lord's willing,
Some of these,
I'll get most of them on.
maybe. Let's see. Can he
Of course,
do
I
it?
still got to notch all this other wall over here and put the bands in it too. So it's iffy. I might not.
Can he get all the ceiling joists on in one day in this huge she shed?
Okay guys, up here on the top, the ceiling joists is where I butted them together on top of this plate. I don't like to leave just 2 butts end to end like that, so I took the scrap pieces that I cut off of them, and I went back and I spliced it onto the side of it as a scab to where I tied this one and the one on the other side together so that they don't twist and become independent of one another. They're all one solid board now, and I did that to all of them down through here. Okay guys, I took a 16-foot 2x4 and I ripped it down the center and made me some, actually it's 1 3/4 by 1.5 inches. This is our ledger that we're going to be putting on the side of this beam for our ceiling joists to notch and to set in instead of using metal hangers. I prefer this method, like I said, to the metal hangers, because I don't have to worry with all that steel up in there and the irregularities of the ceiling where they're at and stuff like that. And supposedly used to when I was in the construction business. This met code, so I'm assuming nothing has changed. And if it has, oh well. So what I've done is, because there's just one of me, I've mailed me a little, I call it my helper. I put my helper out here to hold the other end so that I don't have to hold both ends of it. We're going to get ready to get up there. And this is the beauty of this thing on the gun. It's a hands-free deal. I just throw it over here. The gun takes care of itself. I can pick this up, I can set it out yonder, and it allows me to be able to work, and it's held up on the other end. Now what we're going to do is we're going to keep this flush with the bottom of that beam. I prefer doing this out of spruce because spruce doesn't bust when you nail it. Like yellow pine, if you try to do that, it would just bust and split. So this is where spruce pays off.
Lay this both of them up there.
Yes, I did it. I got all the ceiling joists up today. Okay, it was challenging, but the weather's been really nice today. It's only been in like the low 60s all day. A little light breeze blowing finally. Perfectly clear skies, not a chemtrail nowhere. I mean, guys, it's a beautiful day. We was able to get it all done. It's beginning to look like a building now. Next thing is we're going to put the bands on the outside of the ceiling joists and probably put a run of walk boards down through here. After that, we're going to start putting up the rafters. So stay with us, guys. Thank you from Deep South Homestead.